signs, it's Amanda Beach with Cosmic Beach Consulting, and here is your Cosmic Surf Report for the month of September 2016. Opening up the month of September, we have a new moon in Virgo, and it is also an eclipse. And we also had Mercury go retrograde on the 30th of August. So first of the month, and we already have tons of activity. For you air signs, Mercury retrograde is always kind of either like a super tough or a super great month, depending if you're a Mercury retrograde native or not. Some of my Geminis might be having the hardest of times with this. And this might come to deal with communications with others. So even if it's not necessarily your own doing, you might find yourself with more schedule conflicts, more people that are kind of demanding about how they want you to meet their schedule requests, and more things that are demanded from you when it comes to messages. Maybe you're trying to send out a mass email to a new group that you're organizing and you can't get the server to do anything, or it's supposed to be in somebody else's hands and they're not finishing their end of the job. So it's a lot of like connecting point A to point B for you guys in the first part of September. Now, this eclipse on the 1st is an interesting one. Now, eclipses are said to bring changes. And really, to me, eclipses also inspire changes. It might not necessarily be on the day of the eclipse that you see this, but it might be, something that happened like 18 months before. You might be starting something on this eclipse. It is a new moon. So it's a good time to set those intentions for something that you want to grow while the moon is growing, even though Mercury is retrograde. So make sure that your message is clear on the intentions you're asking for, making sure you're not, asking for more of something instead and accidentally sending something away. And in the second week, finally, we have Jupiter going into Libra. So Jupiter is kind of leaving Virgo behind. Bye-bye. And, those two don't necessarily get along. They tolerate each other, but Jupiter is so much happier to be getting his hangs-on with Libra. So for my Libras, that's a huge boost of luck. For my other air signs, it's a nice little kick in the pants too when it comes to feeling more harmonious, expansive, and lucky. And, big ideas might be a big theme for you guys in the second week. Some of you might be putting projects out there, even though it's Mercury retrograde. But, you might experience some hiccups, but there also might be some parts that are well received. Some of you might be researching things to drum up some publicity. Maybe it's for your personal business. Maybe you're looking for a group that you're fundraising for. But this is definitely kind of a week, the second week of September, for you to connect with some heavy hitters. If you're looking for a mentor or a personal leader, this is kind of a time to start shifting out that. Now, not necessarily the time to make the biggest of commitments because we do have that Mercury retrograde, but definitely a great time to revisit and reorganize. Which, Geminis and Aquarius are really going to love. Libra is going to be super happy here with the balance that Jupiter and Libra is going to bring, and you guys are going to need it because we've got a full moon in Pisces on the 16th. And so for you guys, this might be a time where we're saying goodbye to some emotionally draining relationships. There might be some of you who are experiencing some relationships where, people aren't being 100% clear with you and you're kind of sick of the miscommunication, or, this might be you kind of looking at an institution or a study and devoting more time to that and less time to other things as well. So you might be ending some public time and taking some personal time. This whole retrograde is a great time to go, deeper inside of yourself, to kind of like look at what you're doing. These eclipses are also course correcting eclipses. So that means that if you're, they're path altering eclipses. So if you're on the path, if you're on the right path, if you're kind of like in tune with your mission and you're getting, things done and you're moving forward, you won't see a lot of opposition from this eclipse season. But if you're, not following, if you're not necessarily where you're supposed to be or on the path you're supposed to be on, you're definitely going to get some pushes in the right direction and away from the wrong direction for this eclipse season too. And this might come in the form of leaders or teachers or institutions of learning. And this is more of a third week kind of thing for September too. And I don't know if we'll necessarily see the culmination of the decision for the majority of you air signs at this point in this month, but we will definitely see the beginning of what we're thinking about as far as a decision. We might see some completion when we see that new moon in Libra on the 1st of October too. This last week of September for you kind of sees you with like Libra, like with your hand, like the scales, like two things, weighing two options, which is interesting for the Geminis, the twins, the mutables. But I think it'll be a harder thing for Libras who get overwhelmed with indecision, and then Aquarius who loves to make decisions and can't wait for everybody else to kind of make decisions too. Would like you all to hurry up with that. So, you know, this week talks about making choices. This week talks about being divisive. Or being decisive. But you know what I mean? Like this week talks about making choices and sticking to those choices and not letting ourselves get overwhelmed by wishy-washiness or indecision, or not allowing us, like, being paralyzed by our anxiety and not letting us make choices. So if there's a big decision for you to make in the last week, you know, I need you to really channel as much confidence as you can moving into that new moon, even though we're in a Mercury retrograde, which the shadow period, we'll just be in the shadow period at that point. But if you're going to move forward with that, try not to give in to those feelings of like, I don't know, try not to please both masters. Try to figure out, if you're getting a kick to your calling in the third week here, it's important not to like be like, all right, I know what I'm doing. And then the next week being like, wait, what's my mantra? So really, like, once you're starting to get some idea on that path, it's important for you to really stick to that path and not give into that indecision monster. And if you would like to look deeper at your path, you can contact me, cosmicbeachconsulting.com. Check out my services. Please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. My name is Amanda Beach, and I will see you beautiful people next month.